When the power goes out this winter, your house becomes a ticking clock. Without electricity, your furnace is useless. Your thermostat is a blank screen. While most people will be huddling under blankets hoping for the lights to come back on, they're missing a deadly truth. In a prolonged deep freeze, hypothermia can set in faster than you think. Your home, the one place you feel safe, could become a dangerous trap in less than 48 hours. But what if you didn't need the grid to stay warm? For centuries, people survived the most brutal winters without a single watt of power. In this video, we're revealing 12 proven, non-electric heating sources that you can rely on when everything else fails. We'll cover everything from simple, zero-cost body heat techniques to safe indoor propane solutions, and even a surprising method for turning your living room into a solar-powered heater. Each method comes with critical safety rules, because one mistake can be your last. Stay tuned, because the information in this video could be the difference between freezing and surviving. 1. You are the furnace. Mastering your personal heat engine. Let's begin with a fundamental truth that most people ignore in a crisis. You are a powerful, walking, talking furnace. Right now, your body is churning through calories, generating a consistent output of heat just to keep you alive. This biological process is your first and most reliable line of defense against the cold. The challenge isn't a lack of heat, it's the uncontrolled loss of it. You're constantly radiating this precious warmth into the environment, and the single biggest factor accelerating that loss is wearing the wrong materials. We need to talk about cotton. It's comfortable, it's everywhere. But in a survival scenario, it earns its grim nickname, killer cotton. The fabric acts like a sponge, absorbing every drop of moisture from sweat and holding it directly against your skin. When your skin is damp, your body loses heat up to 25 times faster than when it's dry. In a freezing home during a blackout, this isn't just a minor discomfort, it's a fast track to hypothermia. Staying warm isn't about piling on blankets, it's a science of layering correctly. The system is simple and proven. First, your base layer. This is the garment that touches your skin and its sole purpose is wicking moisture away. Forget cotton. You need materials like merino wool or high-performance synthetics like polyester or polypropylene. These fabrics pull sweat from your skin and move it to the outer layers to evaporate, keeping you fundamentally dry. Next is the mid-layer, which is your insulation. This is where materials like fleece, down, or thicker wool come in. This layer's job is to trap a pocket of warm air, heated by your own body, close to you. For this to work effectively, the layer should be slightly loose. If your clothes are too tight, they compress these air pockets, destroying their insulating properties. Finally, you need an outer shell. This layer protects your personal microclimate from the outside world. It must be windproof and, ideally, waterproof or water-resistant. Wind can slice through your inner layers and steal your warmth in seconds. This shell acts as a barrier, keeping that trapped warm air where it belongs. Don't forget your extremities. A significant amount of body heat escapes through your head, hands, and feet. A wool hat, insulated gloves, and thick wool socks are non-negotiable. It might feel strange to wear a hat to bed, but doing so drastically reduces heat loss overnight. By mastering this layering system, you turn your body's own energy into a sustainable, portable, and life-saving heat source. 2. Mylar space blankets. The pocket-sized heat reflector. Next up is one of the most cost-effective and powerful survival tools you can own, the Mylar space blanket. You've seen these shiny, crinkly sheets in every emergency kit, and it's easy to dismiss them as flimsy foil. That would be a serious mistake. Developed by NASA to insulate spacecraft and protect astronauts from the brutal temperature swings of space, this technology is designed for thermal control. A Mylar blanket works by reflecting up to 90% of your body's radiant heat right back at you. It doesn't produce heat, but it is incredibly efficient at preventing you from losing it. When the temperature is dropping and you have no external heat source, retaining every degree of your own body heat is the name of the game. However, their effectiveness depends entirely on using them correctly. The most common mistake is wrapping it tightly around yourself like a burrito. This is counterproductive. To maximize its power, you need to create a small air gap between your body and the blanket. This trapped layer of air becomes an additional source of insulation, warmed by your body and held in place by the reflective Mylar. Always ensure the shiny side is facing inward toward your body, as this is the surface that reflects thermal radiation. Because Mylar is both windproof and waterproof, it serves as an excellent emergency bivouac sack or shelter lining, protecting you from wind chill and moisture. There are some downsides to be aware of. Mylar is not a breathable material. As it traps your body heat, it will also trap any moisture from sweat. This can lead to condensation building up inside, making you damp and cold, the very thing you're trying to avoid. To combat this, you must vent the blanket periodically, allowing moist air to escape. They are also notoriously fragile and can tear easily, so handle them with care. Despite these limitations, their value is undeniable. They are incredibly lightweight, compact, and affordable. You can store them everywhere: your car's glove box, your daily backpack, your get-home bag, and every first aid kit. For a few dollars, you have a tool that can prevent hypothermia and keep you alive through a dangerously cold night. A pro tip: you can also tape a Mylar blanket over a window, shiny side facing inward, to reflect the heat from inside your home back into the room, reducing heat loss through the glass. 3 thermal batteries, harnessing the power of heated rocks. Let's turn to an ancient heating method that is as effective today as it was thousands of years ago, using heated rocks as thermal batteries. Long before central heating, people relied on the simple physics of heat retention. Dense, dry rocks are exceptional at absorbing thermal energy and releasing it slowly and steadily over many hours. This method provides a safe, flameless, and silent source of radiant heat that can warm a small, enclosed space or a sleeping area without any fuel, fumes, or fire risk inside the room. It's a truly off-grid solution that taps into one of nature's most basic principles. However, safety is paramount, and the most critical rule is selecting the right kind of rock. Never, under any circumstances, use rocks from rivers, creeks, or other wet environments. These rocks can contain trapped pockets of moisture deep within their pores. When heated, this water turns to steam, building up immense pressure until the rock explodes violently. This can send razor-sharp fragments of superheated rock flying, causing serious injury or property damage. Your safest bet is to collect dry, dense field stones like granite or soapstone that show no signs of cracks or fissures. The process is straightforward. Heat the rocks in an outdoor fire pit, fireplace, or on top of a wood stove. You want them to be very hot to the touch, but they shouldn't be glowing red. Use sturdy metal tongs or heavy-duty heat-resistant gloves to handle them. Once heated, carefully place the rocks into a durable metal container, like a steel bucket, a cast-iron Dutch oven, or an ammunition can with the gasket removed. Never place a hot rock directly on a combustible or fragile surface like a wood floor, carpet, or vinyl tile, as it will scorch the material or start a fire. Carry the container indoors and place it in the center of the room you want to heat. The rocks will then radiate a gentle, consistent warmth for several hours. You can create a sustainable cycle by having one set of rocks heating outdoors, while another set is releasing its warmth inside. This ancient technique is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most reliable solutions are the simplest ones. 4 candle heaters. Separating hype from reality. You have almost certainly seen this on social media. The terracotta pot candle heater. The design is simple and alluring. A couple of stacked clay pots inverted over a few tea-light candles, propped up with nuts and bolts. It promises a cheap and clever way to heat a room during a power outage. It looks cozy, resourceful, and effective. But it's crucial to understand what this device actually does, and more importantly, what it doesn't do. The terracotta pot heater is not a magical heat generator. It's a heat concentrator and radiator. A single tea light produces a very small amount of heat, roughly 30 watts, which is comparable to an old incandescent nightlight bulb. Placing 4 tea lights together gives you 120 watts of heat. This is not enough to raise the temperature of an entire room in any meaningful way. What the terracotta pot assembly does is capture the heat rising from the candles, heat that would otherwise quickly dissipate at the ceiling, and absorb it. The clay heats up and then radiates that warmth outward in a 360-degree radius. If you are sitting very close to it, you will feel a pleasant, gentle warmth. It can make a small, enclosed space like a tent or a tiny bathroom feel slightly less frigid. But it will not prevent hypothermia in a standard-sized, uninsulated room during a winter storm. It's a morale booster, not a primary heating system. The risks associated with these devices are often downplayed. First and foremost, you are introducing an open flame into your living space, which is an inherent fire hazard. If the setup is knocked over by a pet, a child, or a clumsy adult, it could easily ignite nearby flammable materials. Furthermore, any combustion process consumes oxygen and produces carbon monoxide, CO, a colorless, odorless gas that is lethal in unventilated spaces. Never use a candle heater in a sealed room, and never ever leave one running while you sleep. You must have a window cracked to ensure a supply of fresh air. The pots themselves become extremely hot and can cause severe burns if touched. While the candle heater isn't entirely useless, its capabilities are wildly exaggerated online. Think of it as a hand warmer for your immediate personal space, but do not rely on it as a solution for survival. 5 Kerosene heaters. The heavy artillery of indoor warmth. When a winter blackout descends and the cold begins to seep through the walls, you need more than just a passive heat reflector. You need a heat generator. This is where indoor-safe propane heaters step in as the heavy hitters. Devices like the popular Mist Heater Buddy are engineered to be powerhouses of warmth, capable of pumping out between 4,000 and 9,000 BTUs of heat. To put that in perspective, that's enough power to transform a dangerously cold 250-square-foot room into a livable, even comfortable space. Powered by a simple 1-pound propane canister, these units can run for hours, providing the kind of substantial room-filling heat that can genuinely save lives when the grid is down for an extended period. This isn't about slightly reducing the chill, it's about actively fighting back against it. However, with great power comes great responsibility. Using a propane heater indoors without understanding the risks is a fatal gamble. The combustion process that creates all that wonderful heat also consumes oxygen and produces carbon monoxide, CO, an invisible, odorless gas that can incapacitate and kill before you even realize you're in danger. This is why you must only use a heater specifically rated for indoor use. These models are equipped with two critical, non-negotiable safety features. The first is an oxygen depletion sensor, ODS, which automatically shuts the heater off if the oxygen levels in the room drop to an unsafe point. The second is a tip-over switch, which instantly cuts the gas supply if the unit is knocked over. Using an outdoor-only propane heater like a patio heater or torpedo heater, inside is a death sentence. Even with a top-of-the-line indoor model, safe operation is paramount. You must always provide ventilation. Cracking a window an inch or two allows for the necessary air exchange, bringing in fresh oxygen and helping to vent any potential byproducts. Paired with this, a battery-operated carbon monoxide detector is not a suggestion. It's an absolute requirement. Place the detector in the same room as the heater and test it regularly. If you don't have a working CO detector, do not ignite the heater. Finally, fuel storage is a key safety consideration. Store your extra propane cylinders outdoors in a secure, well-ventilated area, never inside your home or garage. A small leak from a tank can release flammable gas that is heavier than air, causing it to pool at floor level where it can be ignited by a spark. A propane heater is a phenomenal tool, but it demands your full respect. 6 kerosene heaters. The old-school workhorse. For generations, long before modern prepping became mainstream, kerosene heaters were the dependable heart of warmth in rural homes, workshops and cabins during brutal winters. These are unapologetically old-school devices. They can be smelly, a bit loud, and require hands-on attention. But when a blizzard has knocked out power for days, their ability to churn out a massive 10,000 to 23,000 BTUs of heat is unmatched by almost any other portable option. A single fill-up can provide hours of powerful, radiating warmth capable of heating a large living area or even a small home, making them a serious solution for long-duration outages. They are the rugged, reliable workhorses of the off-grid heating world. However, their biggest strength, raw power, is also tied to their biggest risks. The safety of a kerosene heater is 100% dependent on the user's knowledge and discipline. The first rule of operation is fuel quality. You must use only crystal-clear K1 grade kerosene. Using lower-grade dyed or contaminated fuel will result in incomplete combustion, filling your home with toxic fumes and black soot. And under no circumstances should you ever think of using gasoline as a substitute. The volatility of gasoline is so extreme that its vapors can ignite from a simple spark of static electricity, turning the heater into a bomb. The most dangerous part of using a kerosene heater is refueling. This task must be done with extreme care. Always turn the heater off, let it cool down completely, and then take it outside to refill. Spilling even a small amount of kerosene indoors can seep into flooring or carpets, creating a lingering fire hazard that can be ignited later. Just like propane heaters, kerosene units consume oxygen and produce carbon monoxide. Ventilation is mandatory. You must crack a window to allow for fresh air, and you absolutely must have a working CO detector nearby. Never leave a kerosene heater running unattended or overnight while you sleep. While the fuel itself is stable and stores well for long periods, these heaters are not a set-it-and-forget-it appliance. They require constant vigilance. But for those willing to learn and respect the process, a kerosene heater offers a formidable defense against the winter cold. 7 wood-burning stoves, the ultimate survival hearth. If your goal is to achieve true self-reliance and resilience against a long-term winter power failure, no solution compares to a properly installed wood-burning stove. This is far more than just a heater. It is the command center of an off-grid household. A wood stove provides a powerful, steady, and deeply comforting radiant heat that can warm an entire home for hours on a single load of wood. Beyond warmth, it functions as a cooktop for preparing meals, a boiler for purifying water, and a drying rack for wet clothes and gear. Perhaps its greatest advantage is the fuel source. With access to wood on your property or nearby, you have a renewable, accessible fuel that is completely independent of fragile supply chains and commercial infrastructure. However, this level of independence comes with a significant commitment of labor and knowledge. A wood stove is not a casual appliance, it's a lifestyle. First, you cannot simply burn any piece of wood you find. Using green or unseasoned wood is inefficient and incredibly dangerous. Wet wood smolders, produces very little heat, and releases a thick smoke that deposits creosote, a highly flammable tar-like substance on the inside of your chimney. This buildup is the leading cause of chimney fires, which can destroy a home in minutes. To burn safely and efficiently, you need seasoned firewood that has been cut, split, and left to dry for a minimum of 6 months, and ideally for a full year. Furthermore, installation is a job for certified professionals, not a weekend DIY project. Improper installation, incorrect clearances from combustible materials, or a poorly designed chimney system are recipes for disaster. The codes and regulations exist for a reason, to prevent your house from burning down. Finally, a wood stove requires constant maintenance, including daily ash removal and regular chimney sweeping to remove creosote. Despite the work, the security a wood stove provides is unparalleled. The ability to create a warm, safe, and functional home environment while the world outside is dark and frozen is the very definition of preparedness. For those in cold climates, it is arguably the single best investment in long-term survival you can make. Alcohol stoves. The minimalist's flame. In the world of emergency heating, sometimes the most elegant solutions are the smallest. Enter the alcohol stove, a tiny, silent, and surprisingly capable heat source that has become a staple for ultralight backpackers and a secret weapon for urban preppers. The genius of the alcohol stove lies in its simplicity and its fuel. These stoves run on common denatured alcohol or high-proof isopropyl alcohol, 91% or higher, fuels that are readily available at hardware and drugstores. Unlike pressurized gas canisters, liquid alcohol is shelf-stable indefinitely, is not explosive, and can be stored safely indoors without the same risks as propane or kerosene. It burns cleanly with a nearly invisible and odorless flame. The most famous version is a DIY project made from 2 aluminum soda cans, but many excellent commercial versions are available for a low cost. While it's not going to heat your living room, that's not its purpose. An alcohol stove is a personal survival tool designed for critical, small-scale heating tasks. It excels at boiling water for purification or to make a hot drink, which can be a massive morale and core temperature booster. It can heat up a can of soup, providing crucial calories. In a very small enclosed space like a car, a tent, or a bathroom being used as a temporary warm room, the modest heat output can be just enough to take the life-threatening edge off the cold and keep your hands functional. Despite its small size, it is still an open flame and must be treated with respect. It consumes oxygen and produces CO, so it should never be used in a completely sealed space without some ventilation. One of the unique hazards of an alcohol flame is that it can be very difficult to see in bright light, so you should always act as if it's lit after you've added fuel. A popular and slightly safer design involves placing alcohol-soaked cotton balls inside a small metal tin. This acts as a wick and helps contain the liquid fuel if the stove is accidentally knocked over. For its incredibly low cost, lightweight, and pocket-sized portability, the alcohol stove provides an invaluable backup heating and water boiling capability that no prepper should overlook. 9. Passive solar heating. Harvesting free heat from the sun. One of the most powerful and reliable heating methods requires no fuel, no flames, and no moving parts. It's passive solar heating, and it's the art of turning your home into a natural heat-gathering machine using the one resource that never fails to show up, the sun. On any clear winter day, sunlight streams through your windows, carrying a tremendous amount of thermal energy. The key is to manage this energy intake strategically. Think of your windows as either heat portals or heat drains. During a crisis, you need to become the master controller of this system. The strategy begins at sunrise. Your first action should be to go to all south-facing windows in your home, the ones that receive the most direct sunlight throughout the day, and open every curtain, blind, and shade. Let the sunshine pour in unimpeded. This light will warm every surface it touches: floors, furniture, and interior walls. These objects act as a thermal mass, absorbing the heat. Simultaneously, you want to lock down all windows on the north, east, and west sides of your house. These windows receive little to no direct sun, and primarily serve as points of heat loss. Keep them tightly covered with heavy curtains or blankets to prevent precious indoor warmth from escaping. The real genius of this method is leveraging that thermal mass to your advantage. Dense materials like concrete floors, brick fireplaces, or even large containers of water are excellent at absorbing and storing heat. You can amplify this effect by placing several large, dark-colored jugs of water directly in the path of the sunlight. The dark surface will absorb more energy, and the water will hold that heat for a long time. As the sun sets and the outside temperature plummets, these objects will begin to slowly radiate the stored warmth back into the room, acting as silent, passive radiators that work through the night. This isn't just a quaint idea, it's a proven architectural principle used in off-grid homes in brutally cold climates. It costs nothing to implement and works every single day, turning your home from a passive victim of the cold into an active participant in keeping you warm. 10. Hot water bottles. The low-tech personal heater. In our high-tech world, it's easy to overlook one of the most effective, safe, and profoundly comforting heating tools ever invented, the humble hot water bottle. This simple rubber bladder has been a staple for centuries, providing life-saving warmth in situations ranging from drafty Victorian homes to frontline medical tents. Its effectiveness lies in the incredible heat capacity of water. Water is exceptionally good at holding thermal energy and releasing it slowly over a long period. When you fill a hot water bottle, you are creating a portable, personal, and completely safe heat source that can last for hours. The process is simple, but has a few critical safety rules. First, heat your water on a stove or over a fire, but never use water that is at a rolling boil. Water at that temperature can degrade the rubber, leading to leaks or bursts that can cause serious burns. The correct method is to bring the water to a boil, then remove it from the heat and let it cool for a couple of minutes before filling. Fill the bottle only about 2/3 full. Overfilling doesn't make it warmer, it just makes it more dangerous. Before sealing the cap, carefully squeeze the bottle to expel the excess air. This reduces the internal pressure and minimizes the risk of the bottle bursting under weight. The final and most important rule is to never place a hot water bottle directly against your bare skin, even if it doesn't feel scalding hot. Prolonged contact can cause nasty low-temperature burns. Always wrap the bottle in a towel or use a purpose-made fabric cover. The true power of the hot water bottle is its targeted efficiency. In a major blackout, heating your entire house is an impossible task. But heating your immediate personal space is achievable. Slipping a hot water bottle into your sleeping bag or under the covers at the foot of your bed 15 minutes before you get in creates a pre-warmed microclimate that can make the difference between a miserable, shivering night and a restful sleep. They are silent, produce no fumes, and are endlessly reusable. 11. Gas fireplaces. Your hidden off-grid asset. That elegant gas fireplace in your living room might be more than just a decorative feature. For many, it's a hidden survival asset waiting to be activated during a power outage. While electric fireplaces are useless the moment the grid fails, many gas fireplaces are designed to operate completely independently of the electrical system. The key to unlocking this potential lies in understanding your fireplace's ignition system, as there are two fundamentally different types. The first, and the most valuable in a grid-down scenario, is a unit with a standing pilot light. This is a small, constant flame that is always on. This tiny flame does more than just wait to ignite the main burner. It heats a device called a thermopile or thermocouple. This clever component uses the heat from the pilot to generate a small amount of millivoltage, just enough electricity to operate the gas valve. This means the fireplace powers itself. During a blackout, you can typically turn it on and off manually using a control knob or switch on the unit itself, no external power required. The blower fan that circulates heat will not work, but the fireplace will still produce a significant amount of radiant and convective heat, easily enough to keep one room survivably warm. The second type is an electronic ignition system. These fireplaces don't have a constant pilot light and are instead started by an electronic spark when you press a remote or flip a wall switch. These systems are dependent on household electricity and will not work in a blackout unless they have a battery backup system. This is crucial information you need to find out now, not during an emergency. Locate your owner's manual or examine the control area of your fireplace for a battery compartment. If it has one, install a fresh set of high-quality batteries and test the system to ensure it works. This single piece of knowledge transforms your fireplace from a useless decoration into a primary heat source. Don't make a dangerous assumption. Verify your system today. 12. Bioethanol fireplaces. Modern ventless warmth. As urban living and modern design evolve, a new heating option has gained significant traction: the bioethanol fireplace. These sleek contemporary units offer the appeal of a real dancing flame without the need for a chimney, flue, or permanent installation. They run on bioethanol, a clean-burning, plant-based fuel that produces minimal emissions, primarily water vapor and carbon dioxide, with no smoke, soot, or smell. This ventless design means they are incredibly versatile, available as tabletop models, wall-mounted units, or freestanding centerpieces, making them one of the few real flame options for people in apartments, condos, or rentals. The heat output is generally modest, ranging from 2,000 to 5,000 BTUs. While this won't heat an entire house, it's enough to provide supplemental warmth, take the biting chill out of a moderately sized room, and offer a significant psychological boost during a blackout. The visual comfort of a real flame can be a powerful morale booster when everything else is dark and cold. The fuel itself is another advantage. It has a long shelf life and can be stored safely indoors in its sealed containers, a major benefit for urban preppers with limited space. However, ventless does not mean you can ignore ventilation. Any combustion process consumes oxygen and produces carbon dioxide. In a small, tightly sealed space, these fireplaces can deplete oxygen to unsafe levels. Therefore, you must always ensure there is a source of fresh air, such as a cracked window, and never operate one in a tiny enclosed room like a bathroom. The single greatest danger associated with bioethanol fireplaces is refueling. The fuel is highly flammable, and attempting to pour it into a burner that is still hot can result in a dangerous flare-up or flash fire. The rule is absolute. Always allow the burner to cool completely, at least 15 to 20 minutes before refilling. Use only manufacturer-approved bioethanol fuel. For those without the option of a wood stove or propane system, a bioethanol fireplace represents a viable modern solution for supplemental off-grid heat.